be sitting on this. So there it is. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. I wanted to start off by apologizing for the road noise. There's some things going on that makes it to where I have to do my filming here today. So anyway, do you own a KTM 390 Adventure? And are you tired of sitting on this and want to be sitting on this? If so, then I might have a solution for you. So Seat Concepts has a replacement foam and seat cover, which is in this box, and we'll go through the installation of this foam and seat cover, and then I will do I've got about a 1,200 mile trip coming up, so I will have more than an ample opportunity to test it out to let you know what my thoughts are. All right, it took 11 weeks, 10 weeks, 11 weeks, I think 11 weeks to get my seat foam and seat cover from Seat Concepts. So on the top of the box it says do not use blades to open it, so I'm going to use scissors. Now everyone loves a box opening, I think. I really don't, but let's do that anyway. All right, box is open, and this is what we have. This. So let's get the box out of the way. All right, we have the replacement foam, which I can already tell that the sitting area is much wider than the stock one, and it still stays narrow in the front. And I think what I read is that they've built up the front as well, so it doesn't have that slope. It should be more of a level seat, which I'm very happy about that as well. And then the very grippy seat cover that goes on. So I'll have to get that pulled over. So anyway, that's what came in the box. It'll go on here. It looks good. It's got orange stitching. I chose the one with the orange stitching and the carbon fiber looking sides to it. I'd had another seat like this, and I liked just the way it looked, and it's a little bit grippy. The top is definitely, the material that they use is nice and grippy compared to the slickness of the original seat. Yeah, so at this point I just need to take the old seat cover off and fit the foam and get the new one on. So let's get started on that. I looked at the instructions real quick, and it suggests using an adhesive spray on the base. So I'm probably gonna have to run to the store to get that. In the meantime, I'm gonna take the existing seat cover off, which is just a bunch of staples with a screwdriver and a pair of pliers, and then take the foam off just to see how much the new seat moves around on it, and if I want to go through the trouble of going to the store to get the adhesive, or if it'll stay. I probably should do the adhesive because it'll just be a better installation. So let's get started on the staples. All right, I went and bought Gorilla adhesive spray. It's supposed to be heavy duty, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray the seat pan, and then hopefully I can get this foam set down the first time without having to move it around, because I only get about a minute of movement before this kind of locks into place. But I think that'll make it a lot easier to have it glued on when I go to put the seat cover. And then it also came with this plastic cover that I'm planning to use to put over the top of this. I find myself riding in a lot of different types of weather conditions, not rain all that often, but I think it's worth having the plastic cover on that. So I'm gonna get this sprayed on and then get this set in place, and then we'll go through the steps of getting this put on as well. The adhesive spray is on. Ooh, that's super duper tacky. So I gotta make sure I get this on right. So I'm afraid I'm gonna get one chance at this. So I'm gonna set the front on. I hope that this can be seen. All right, it's giving me a little bit of room to move it around. Okay, that's in place. The back's pulled over. I've got that lipped in. All right, I'm gonna press that down. I really wanted the adhesive to keep the sides stuck together, and the center part. This part I wasn't so worried about. I think it's gonna stay down because it's heavy, there's a lot of material. But these sides in here, I wanted them to stick. I've got the plastic wrap on there. It's not super tight because it's not necessarily, it's just a big flat piece of plastic, but as long as I can keep these wrinkles in it when I go to put the seat cover on, I think it'll be fine. This is thick enough that it should, and the plastic is thin enough that I don't think I'll feel any of the folds in it, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get started setting this in place. The corners here, I had to make sure that they were turned and pushed out all the way, and that way it'll go around the corner of the seat here, and then it'll get pulled in. So I'm gonna start by getting that done, and usually when I've done this before, I'll tack in one staple in the corners just to hold those while I work on getting it, and I start at the ends and get that pulled there, and then the sides will come together as I pull that over. So let's see what we can do. I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to show this. I'll do the best I can, but to be honest, I'm more interested in just getting this on as opposed to trying to show every single step. So there it is. I want to provide my final thoughts on the Seat Concept seat for the KTM 390 Adventure. Now, Seat Concepts is a great company and they make great products. The seat is no exception. However, as I go through things, I'm going to talk about a few things with the seat that for me and my choice and my preference, this is not a seat I would choose again, and I'll tell you all the reasons why. First thing is the seat cover is made really well. The grip part, I got the one with the grip on it. It's super grippy. It feels good. It's durable. The stitching on the seat cover is really nice. It's orange. It matches with the bike. It looks good. So nothing to say bad about that. This is a fantastic cover for the seat. Now this seat is extra wide and it gives more of like a dished platform feel in the back for my butt to fit in. It wraps quite a bit wider than the previous seat to give a much bigger seating platform. The seat itself raises the overall, I'm not gonna say seat height, I think the seat height is raised about 3/4 of an inch, but the standover height is raised well over an inch, maybe even an inch and a half, because this seat is so much wider. Now what I found with the seat on is I used to be able to reach the ground from basically any seated position. With this seat, I have to slide forward in order to get a foot down, and so every time I come to a stop sign or stoplight or I need to stop and I'm sitting back in the seat, I have to slide forward. I don't necessarily like to have to do that, but now that the bike is a bit taller, that's what I have to do. So for you taller riders, you might really like this. Now because the seat is taller, the front of the seat has been raised up, it's going to give you more leg room. That was one of the first things I noticed, is I have more leg room and more room in the bike itself because of this seat. And for taller, bigger riders, you may really like this. Now I rode this in multiple types of conditions. I spent hours riding on the seat in 100-degree temperatures. I spent an entire day riding in the rain with this seat at about 58 degrees, so not super cold, but not necessarily a comfortable day. And I can say that this seat, just like any others, you're gonna have some water that pools up right where your legs come together, right in your crotch area. That's just the way it is. There's really no way around that. This seat's no different. I did use the waterproof cover on the foam to keep the foam from getting wet. I'm really glad I did that so that it wasn't soggy. It did just fine. I went with the sport foam, the sport seat, There is also a comfort version. I wish I had gone with the comfort version. The sport version feels equally as hard, if not harder, than the stock seat. It's just because it's a little bit wider, you're able to distribute some of your own body weight over the seat a little bit more, but it is a very solid seat. I had some people tell me that the seat should break in. I've got almost 1,300 miles on it, and it is equally as hard now as it was when I got it. I didn't know which of the two seats to go with. I wanted something a little bit more firm, but it is equally as firm as the previous seat that was on here, the KTM seat. After my first 600 miles of riding on this seat, if you had have asked me right then, I would have told you I was ready to take the seat cover and the foam off and go back to stock. Part of it was it's just really hard, and now that the seat is so much wider, it limits the number of seating positions that I have. With the other seat, we'll say, well, I have 20 different ways to sit on it to alleviate pressure on my butt. With this seat, because it is wide, it took about half of those away, so it's a little bit harder if I've been sitting in the seat for hours to get to that right spot. It is wider, so it supports a little bit better than the other seat, but I'm not convinced that this is really an upgrade for my bike. For the money, I think I should have gone with the KTM bench seat. I'm not even sure I could get it, but I think I would have maybe preferred that. Yeah, that seat is going to be a little bit taller, but because it is a little bit narrower, the standover is probably going to be about the same as it is on this seat. So my final thoughts on this seat are, if you're a tall person, you want some more leg room in the bike, standover is not really an issue for you. You might be perfectly happy with this. Maybe go with the comfort and not the sport unless you like the really firm feel of the existing seat. If you want something more comfortable and you still want to be able to get your feet down, this might not be the seat for you. Those are just my thoughts, my experience on it. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do at this point. I've already spent the money on it. I may just pull the seat cover and foam, put it on eBay, hope to get something for it, and put the old one back on, or I may wait until I can purchase a KTM bench seat so I can try that before fully committing and getting rid of this seat. I'm not exactly sure what to do at this point, but I will say I am disappointed in the seat itself. I was expecting more comfort. I think part of that is because I went with the sport seat and not the comfort, but I also don't like the increase in seat height just for the standover and having to slide forward. If you are interested in the seat concept seat, hopefully this gave you some of the information that you were looking for. Mounting it is easy, putting the foam in the seat cover, not a big deal. You just got to take your time doing it. Make sure you get the seat cover stretched over to the appropriate distance and tacked into the right place or stapled into the right place. Not a big deal. Comfort wise, it didn't, with the sport version, it didn't add any comfort for me. It added standover. It did give me some more leg room for traveling, but I wasn't really uncomfortable with the previous seat. So my final thoughts are, I would not buy this seat and seat cover again, but I wanted to give it a try. I thought it might be an improvement over the previous seat. I don't believe it is. So use it if you want. I can't recommend this seat. I think Seat Concepts, again, they're a good company. They make good products, but my experience with this seat and for what I do, I just don't see the value in this over the stock seat. My recommendation would be stay with the stock seat, go with the bench seat, or go with the comfort version, not the sport. So I hope you found this helpful. Get out, do some riding, spend some time in your own seat to see how it feels. Ride safe, and I will see you out there.